You know, us as a society here, we love to make numbers a big deal, right? Next Monday is going to be my 22nd birthday, but last year was the big 21st. We know how we love to make 21st birthdays a big deal. The WWE loves to make numbers a big deal, whether it's championship reigns, such as Roman Reigns holding the title for 1,000 days, or this year's WrestleMania being WrestleMania 40, or even like the NFL Super Bowl 60s coming up, not next year, but the following year. So, yeah, we love to make numbers a big deal here in the world of sports and in podcasting too. Because guess what? As unofficial as this is the 20th episode of WrestleMan with the podcast. Yes, we have had a lot of special episodes, air quotes, because we've had Matt and Troy and all types of other guests on for way extended periods of episodes here. But my version of the episodes of Brett and Butter, Raw Rundown, Lay at the Smack Talk, Ring Discoveries, Takedown Top 5, all that stuff. So in my book, it's the 20th episode. It's the most unofficial shit ever, but who cares? We have made it. And how about a way to start it then by going solo? Yes, I am back by myself for the first time in a while here. I'm actually kind of excited to do that here. And we got a lot to talk about because SmackDown and Raw were freaking stacked. We had the return of one Roman Reigns destroying the Tongans. We also got tag title number one contender matches, U.S. title number one contenders match. In terms of Raw, that show is freaking stacked right now with the whole Judgment Day drama. Punk literally whipping Drew with McIntyre's belt. Gunther getting personal with Orton, a great main event with Sammy and Breaker, and a lot more. So let's not waste time here. This special 20th episode, this is WrestleMan at the podcast. Let's go.
Welcome to WrestleMan with the podcast. I'm Dylan Shields. We talk Raw, SmackDown, wrestling news, and some fun top lists. With that being said, ring the bell.
A little update for y'all. I am no longer a champion here in our Conneaut trip. If you ever noticed the world title being in the background there, my one friend Evan, who's actually on the SummerSlam vlog, check it out if you want to. He won the title for me in axe throwing because we love to put that title on the line in silly competitions. I know a lot of people like to do that. So, yeah, I am sadly no longer the champion. So I'm probably just going to be moving my body around here. So, because all you see is a pillow now, no exciting background. But nonetheless, let's get into the PowerPoint slides. Yes, the return. It's been a while, but for the 20th episode, we got to make it special with this. As always, Lay at the SmackDown starts. And it started with Cody Rhodes discussing about SummerSlam and who he wants to be his next opponent for Bash at Berlin. But then Solo came out and said that Roman's the only reason why that Cody retained. He wants rematch. Cody basically said, no, screw you. Get to the back of the line. You lost your chance. And then as the Bloodline were about to attack Cody, and by the way, the Bloodline does not have Jake and Fatu in it this week. We'll get to that in a bit. KO came in with the chair and saved Cody. But interestingly, Cody said, stay here, Kevin. I want to talk to you for a second. And Cody's been thanking Kevin for helping him out. And he wants to return the favor and give him a title shot at Bash at Berlin. And I appreciate Kevin Owens because shout out to my man, Sam Roberts. I've shouted him out a lot on this podcast. But a main rule that he has is for wrestlers to watch the product. And guess what? Kevin Owens damn sure has, watched the product. He's watched himself. He knows. He basically said, Cody, I don't deserve this. You've seen my win-loss record has kind of sucked this year. I don't deserve it. And Cody, being the ultimate babyface he is saying, like, listen, the fans, they think you deserve it. They want to see it. And Owens still being humble, being like, no, but Cody doesn't oblige. He's still going to go to Nick Aldis. And they do go to Nick Aldis backstage. And very interestingly, Nick Aldis was talking to both of them and said, I considered having Roman Reigns as an opponent for Cody. And Owens went off on all this. He's like, wait, what? Roman? Like, I get people loving that he returned, but he was champion for 3.5 years and always need the bloodline. Did you know what he did to us? And he sounded so passionate, and KO was like, not me, but go to the locker room and you'll see, guys. And all this with a good line was like, I don't need to look, and made the match official for Bash at Berlin. I think I've said this for the past few weeks, at least predictions wise with this. I think we are leading to a descent of the relationship between KO and Cody because of Roman. I feel like the respect that Roman maybe have and Cody have for each other is what's going to piss KO off and end up destroying Cody. I could definitely see a world. I think, in my opinion, the relationship's going to stay good for Bash at Berlin. I still think it's going to be babyface versus babyface match. Cody probably retains to me, but at the end, KO just goes off and attacks Cody, similar to him attacking Sami Zayn when he won the NXT title and powerbombing him off the apron. I could definitely see that, because that could be one of Cody's first stories where it has a lot of, in a while, that has like a lot of interest, a lot of intrigue. Not to say that like the Styles, Paul, and Solo stuff wasn't, but we got to give something for Cody to sink his teeth into. And I think a KO feud, an extended one, can be a pretty good one for both of them. And good for KO, since it's been a while since he's been in a world title feud. Yes, his win-loss record isn't great. I know they're probably going to salvage that these next few weeks, give him some wins. But I like what they've been doing. Of course, there's going to be criticisms being like, this match feels so random. We're like, they've been even saying like, oh, there's no story. Like, the fuck you guys talking about? Like, what are you talking about, guys? There's a story there to KO Cody. I don't understand people that are criticizing that. They've been alliances for months now, trying to fight this new bloodline. So I don't understand the whole criticism there. I'm excited for the match. Maybe predictable in terms of outcome for now. Doesn't make me any less excited, though. It's another good opponent for Cody. Smaller things. Street Profits defeated A-Town Down Under in a tag title tournament, and then DIY beat Pretty Deadly. So we got two babyface teams for the number one contenders for the Bloodlines Championship, which seems like it's going to be the Botch King himself. Tama Tonga now is a tag champion who literally has DIY's plates on it. I don't know how they managed to screw that up, and how Tonga held the belt with the DIY nameplate, but only him could do that. But I don't know who's going to win this. I can easily see DIY getting another chance, maybe even just winning them back. Maybe that feeling bad, Triple H feeling bad that they only held them for like a few weeks. But Street Profits haven't held the tag titles for a while, and them versus the Bloodline would be intriguing. So we'll see next week. Chelsea and Tiffany had a funny trash talk segment backstage. Seems like they're going to do like a championship ceremony for Nia Jax. Like I said, love Tiffany's briefcase with the purse. I haven't talked a lot about that, but it's a very good look. We all knew it was going to be customized, and it did not disappoint. These two give me early 2000s teen movie, like bitch bully, like mean girl type of stuff from both of them, with Tiffany, both of them kind of being like the popular girl, like cheerleader-esque type character. And I am all for it. I'm a rom-com sucker. I am. I'll admit it. So seeing that was very, very funny. I'm happy they're utilizing Chelsea Green and Piper Niven to that extent very, very well. Kind of keeping them relevant in the title scene. The women's tag champs are at a very interesting spot here, because Cargill beat, I believe it was Dawn, but I could be wrong. One of them. Apologize for not knowing them that well, but like in like not even 2 minutes. But then Davenport attacked them, but Naomi made her return and saved the day with a new hairstyle. Gotta love Naomi's change of styles. It's weird how the women's tag champs are being booked like that on SmackDown. And then on Raw, we'll get to that, but they got a whole other thing going for them. So we'll see where we go from there. LA Knight celebrated being U.S. champion. Santos Escobar confronted him. Santos mocked LA Knight in the funniest way. I think he was saying like Escobar C. And the fans were just not having it. It was just genius there. Santos, I know he might have been treading water a little bit ever since like the Mysterio feud ended, but he still has the heat there. So, and we got to him versus Andrade, and they gave them some time there. They gave him more time than a lot of matches tonight, at least like a little over 10 minutes. Escobar getting the win thanks to Carmelo Hayes, which makes sense, continuing the Andrade-Carmelo feud. And Santos becomes the number one contender. I know they fought a lot, but it can be a pretty decent match, and it is a good opportunity for Santos to become champion. Because I believe, like, he won the title or something, or like some tournament or something, got injured. Ray took his place last year and won the title. So at least he's finally getting like a true shot for it. In terms of Carmelo Costa Andrade, I need to see Carmelo LA Knight in the future for the title. And considering LA Knight reportedly signed a 3-year extension with the company, obviously has a big push right now. I don't see him losing the belt anytime soon. I've been picturing this as a fantasy match. I know we've had this feud this year for a while. We haven't seen AJ Styles in a while, and I can 100% see him coming back soon, maybe after the Santos feud ends, and going after LA Knight and his championship, because they're tied 1 apiece in terms of matches, similar to Roman Cody, who's tied 1 apiece and needs to have a third match soon. But I feel like they're going to do that at some point, maybe Bad Blood. I think Bad Blood. Basher Berlin's going to be cool, but Bad Blood is what I am really hyped for. But anyway, I think we're getting that feud very soon, because the heel mid-card-ish type of landscape isn't the best for LA Knight right now. So I feel like a guy like Styles could definitely get LA Knight even more popular than he already is. Interesting, we got a Giovanni Vinci package. I know he had a singles run in NXT for a few weeks. Seems like we're going back to that. It's interesting that he's on SmackDown all of a sudden, considering Kaiser turned on him. You thought he'd go after him and Gunther, but guess not for him. Rest in peace to Kevin Sullivan. This is a serious news here. I didn't really watch him that much, but I know he was in the Dungeon of Doom in WCW. But more than that, I know he had a great mind for the business of professional wrestling, and a lot of people were good friends and honored him. They had a great package for him. So yeah, rest in peace to him, and pray for his family and friends as always. But back to good news, the main event segment. So demanding Roman to come out. He did. When that first beat hit to his remix theme, the crowd went nuts. And again, people want to be nitpicky, not liking this new theme of Roman, with people somehow not even knowing that this is what he came out to at WrestleMania 40 and how highly regarded that entrance was. I personally like it. It sounds even more God mode than his original theme. And when the pyro just bursted out of nowhere, kind of scared me a little bit. Just came out of nowhere. Just that whole entrance and the aura. A lot of people like to me, overuse the word aura a lot. I feel like people try to degrade wrestlers such as Solo for not having aura. I think that's because this man, Roman Reigns, sets the bar so high on aura. He, without a doubt, has the single biggest aura in the company. This is the biggest aura we've seen since The Undertaker. Yes, I said it. He's got that type of aura to him and presence that when his music hits and he comes out, he doesn't have to do a fucking thing. The fans just stand and record and go ape shit for him. In terms of the segment itself, he destroyed the Tongans, which I forgot about this. Apparently, Roman and Tama Tonga years ago had a Twitter beef, and people were joking, being like, Roman finally finished a story with Tama Tonga, settling their beef on Twitter, beating the hell out of him. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, Roman just basically disparaging everybody. Superman punching Solo, spearing both Tongans, one through the barricade, and then he's beating the hell out of them with steel steps, steel chairs. This Roman right now is giving me recommend leave vibes from when he first returned to 2020. He's not saying a word yet. He's trash talking, but he's not cutting promos yet. He's just going out there. He's wrecking everyone. He's beating the crap out of everyone and leaving. That he's not high-fiving fans. Like, no, this gives me original when he came back in 2020 vibes, and I am all for that. And yeah, overall, just a great segment here. I'm curious because Roman's going to be on SmackDown this week, if he'll be at Bash at Berlin or if he'll be at Bad Blood, if he's going to be at either of those pay-per-views. I don't know. I think Bad Blood to me is more realistic for him to be there than Bash at Berlin because I feel like they're trying to make that a pretty big deal to me. I believe Crown Jewel's gonna be right before Survivor Series in November. I could definitely see him there because they always want him for the Saudi shows. I'm just wondering when we're doing Roman Solo. Because there's been a lot of rumors of them waiting the one-on-one match till WrestleMania. I'd rather have them do the one-on-one match, Roman Solo. And maybe, to me, I would have, if I was a booker, I'd have Solo win with maybe some help. Then you get to the War Games match with OG Good Guy Bloodline versus the New Bad Guy Bloodline. And if Roman Rock's not happening at WrestleMania next year, I think we need to do Roman versus Fatu at WrestleMania next year because he is the one true threat to Roman right now. And we'll get to Fatu's injury update in a bit, but even if it was like a real injury, it might have been a blessing in disguise in terms of just keeping Roman away from Fatu. Because to me, Roman Solo is an exciting match, but Roman Fatu's the money match right now for this new bloodline. I want to see Fatu no-sell Roman stuff and just go nuts on him. Like when those two stare down, there's going to be an audible gasp from the crowd, and it is going to be so exciting. I think that's what you need to do for WrestleMania. Solo Roman just doesn't have, it's a big match, but similar to Solo Cody not being SummerSlam match, I don't know if you really want that for WrestleMania. You never know. I've been proven wrong how many times for not wanting matches, but they turned out to be good. But that's just my 2 cents on it. In terms of the updates on Paul Heyman and Jimmy Uso, I know there was a lot of pictures of Paul Heyman backstage at SummerSlam. So interesting that he was backstage, but he didn't come out. So that makes me think that Roman himself is going to reintroduce Heyman back. And that can maybe be his motivation for attacking Solos, is Roman. Because on the documentary back in March, Roman said, when I lose the title, I'm leaving. Maybe Roman could say oh, well, I was content on leaving. I was done. But then you put your hands on the wise man. And Roman either introduces him or even we can start SmackDown this week with the ladies and gentlemen and Paul introduces Roman. And oh my God, would the crowd just love that. And Jimmy Uso apparently has been cleared, yet we haven't seen him back yet. So I'm wondering maybe when we get to the Roman Solo match, if that's when Jimmy returns, if Roman introduces him back. I don't know. Sorry. But this bloodline story as a whole, every time you think it's over, every time you think it's stale, every time we think it's stale, it continues to evolve and grow and get better. I'm so fascinated with it. I need a full documentary when this bloodline thing is truly in the dust years from now, and just a documentary on everything, because man, is this just one of the overall best stories in not just WWE, but wrestling history. And I am so excited for this new, Roman Reigns, a fresh version of him. I'm excited to see where The Rock fits into all of this. I think I said this before. I don't think we're seeing him till next year now, most likely, but him being a part of it's going to be cool. Yeah, sky's the limit for this storyline. 100%. Raw rundown. another freaking stacked episode of Monday Night Raw here. We kicked it off with Rhea Ripley cutting a promo on Dominic and Liv Morgan here. And oh boy, Rhea had some lines for Dominic Mysterio here. Had some very, very personal lines. But the moment I wanted to talk about was when Liv and Dom confronted Rhea Ripley. And Rhea said the word "we" in terms of like know where you are. And what a shot this was of Liv and Dom being like, "What are you talking about?" And Priest just standing right behind them and them not knowing. And then they do the classic like cartoonish like slow turn and the scared face, and then Priest just locks eyes on Dominic and just beats the hell out of him. And Rhea goes after Liv. The Judgment Day brawls the past few weeks have just been absolutely freaking amazing. We'll get to more of that. Well, actually, we might as well just keep going on that because Priest just beat Carlito in a few minutes. Crazy world that we're in, that Damien's the babyface and Carlito's the heel after last year's Backlash. But anyway, again, a good like brawl with Finn and JD attacking Priest. Rhea saving the day. I loved how she just low blowed Carlito right away. And then they had Finn trapped, but Finn got away. It seems like the main catalyst for the storyline managed to get away. Poor Carlito and JD got to take all the damn bumps and take all the heat for that because the main guys for the story can't take heat yet. And Rhea, well, there's a funny moment too when Priest hugged Rhea. Donna tries to jump off the top rope. Well, I don't know what the hell he was thinking. Those are two pretty big people, and Dom thinks he's gonna cross body both of them while they're hugging. Priest just goozles him, and he flips in the Rhea, and the crowd was eating at the palm of their hands for Rhea to riptide Dominic, but he got out of it. When it actually happens, it's gonna be amazing. So, and the mixed tag match is official between Dominic and Liv versus the Terror Twins. Yes, that is their name, of Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. Very interesting name for them, but it kind of fits them well. Again, though, just this story just continues to impress the hell out of me. I really hope it can stay this hot until WrestleMania because the potential for some matches, such as Damian versus Finn, possibly get the Demon back involved in this. Whatever Liv Morgan's gonna do. And this might sound insane, but I've been fantasy booking this for a while. How about a Rhea Ripley Dominic Mysterio WrestleMania match? Why not? You kidding me? The people are gonna be begging for Rhea to get like a pinfall on Dominic Mysterio and beat the hell out of him. Which a crazy world we're in, considering 2 years ago she did that as a heel. But I'm just saying, man, like if anyone could be the next, like, I guess China-esque wrestler that she can like dominate the men and the women, it's Rhea Ripley. And I think a great match for Rhea, she doesn't have to be in the title scene every year for WrestleMania. I could definitely see her versus Dominic Mysterio at a pay-per-view or even at a WrestleMania. I'm serious. Like, I could definitely see that. I honestly wouldn't mind it. So I'm so excited to see where this goes and where this match goes. The Wyatt Six had another package, basically Bo Dallas saying the work's not done yet. Again, like Bo Dallas continues to kill it in promos. Great work. Let's get to Xavier Woods here and just this new version of the New Day. And then the Final Testament confronting him, basically saying, like, we know Odyssey replaced Big E, but he's replacing you too, Xavier, and getting under his skin. And I am actually starting to get intrigued by this, only because they have been teasing this tension between the New Day. Because Xavier Woods was about to challenge Cross, and then Kofi grabbed the mic, kind of changed his attitude a little bit in the promo. He did say something funny. I think he said like final testicles, and Carrie almost couldn't hold back his laughter a little bit. But yeah, then Kofi challenged him to a tag match next week. we are kind of teasing Xavier Woods potentially breaking up the New Day. As heartbreaking as that might be for a lot of people if it happens, they need to do something with them, because ever since Big E's been gone, they have been the definition of treading water and not doing that much. They need a change. And while it'll be weird to see a heel Xavier Woods considering all the nice things he does outside WWE and everything, I feel like we need that. A breakup and a potential Xavier Woods, Kofi, and even Odyssey Jones feud would be that would change Woods' career. Look at Chad Gable, a guy who did a bunch of comedy stuff early on and now is like one of the bigger heels on Raw. You sometimes kind of need that to break out a little bit. And I feel like Woods could do that, because he's the one guy in the New Day who hasn't held a world title yet. And I feel like a heel Woods could do wonders. When it'll happen, I don't know. Maybe next week, maybe down the line, but hopefully we can progress here and finally Woods can continue to get a little bit of a bigger push. Ivy Nile actually turning heel on Maxine Dupree, costing the Alpha Academy against the American Maid. I'm surprised it didn't happen earlier, because Ivy Nile is literally part of the Creed brothers, but I guess they were teasing that a little bit. It makes sense. Continue to give the heat to the heel group. I'm happy that it seems like the Wyatt Six, like, yeah, they beat them, but like the American Maid is still pretty relevant, because they have potential to me to be like them being the tag champs and Gable being either the IC champ or world champ, like a stable holding all the gold. Niall kind of needed something because she barely had a character. So now her being with this new heel team can be amazing for her career as well. Alba Fire and Dawn beating up the contenders, Sonya's new faction, which I don't know the name of it for some reason, and then Damage Control. Going back to SmackDown, it's interesting how Alba and Fire and Dawn Marie, or not Dawn Marie, sorry, wrong name, and Dawn. It's interesting to me how they're feuding with Bianca and Jade and Naomi now, but at the same time feuding with all these other teams. And I understand the women's tag titles are both brands, but it's very interesting that they're kind of getting a lot of a spotlight here as tag champions, more of a spotlight than I thought they would. It's probably still one of the least interesting parts, just because it's hard to get invested in a tag titles that kind of feels like a hot potato more than anything. But I appreciate them trying. Pete Dunne attacking Sheamus, whatever. I kind of feel bad for Sheamus that he really doesn't have that much right now, but like, I guess they're trying to build heat to this match. Maybe it's a pay-per-view match at Berlin since it's in Germany and Europe. I don't know. Gunther Orton segment here. Very well done. Very well done here. Gunther, again, just being one of the bigger haters of the year. And that's saying something. We've had a lot of haters here, but this man does not know when to chill on the mic. Calling Orton's grandfather disappointment, his father disappointment, Orton himself a disappointment. Oh, man. Orton's not the guy you want to piss off at all. And a lot of comments of people saying, I think Orton didn't have like the usual tape that he has on his hands or the elbow pads. They're saying this is like 2009 Orton-esque. We're getting 2009 Orton back, so everyone likes to see nostalgia. I love 2009, especially bald Randy Orton, vicious heel Randy Orton. So it's good that fans pick up on that. Interestingly, Drew came out to confront both of them for like a second, because as Gunther, you never do this in front of Randy Orton. Nobody should do this. You don't turn your back. He did for a second, and Orton RKO'd him, not out of nowhere. Gunther should have seen it coming. It was completely not out of nowhere. But then right after that, CM Punk came out and him and Drew with another brawl, and Drew was going to whip Punk with his belt. But nope, Punk whipped him with the belt, and Drew was shirtless, and some of the sounds when Punk whipped him were brutal. I think Drew shared like an Instagram picture afterwards. Dear God, the lashes are just completely brutal, but it makes sense with this feud. I wonder if that means we're getting some type of strap match at Bash at Berlin. Possibly. I definitely think they're having a match at Bash at Berlin because the big rumor right now for Bad Blood is that the main event is going to be McIntyre Punk in a Hell in a Cell match. And that seems like a feud ender to me. And considering WWE just loves trilogies, especially trilogies that are 1-1 apiece and the winner wins the rivalry, I could definitely see a strap match where Punk gets his win back and then we settle the feud at Bad Blood. And I'm all for it. I mean, dude, keep this feud going forever. Fight forever, as the fans chant. I never want to see this feud end. It has just been the best segment right now in WWE this year. And I love how they tied it in with the Gunther Orton stuff. Makes me think that Punk and Drew are going to be involved in the world title picture very soon, potentially after their feud, maybe even during it. We'll see. But we have more sad news. Bronson Reed killed another man. He absolutely killed R-Truth. And even Michael Cole was getting emotional. He was saying R-Truth's a national treasure. Poor Bronson Reed attacked Awesome Truth. He gave 5 fucking tsunamis to R-Truth. Come on, my God, man. And WWE continuing to be the worst security of all time, not actually removing him from the arena, just telling him, get out, get out. Like, no, like he's going to do whatever he wants. And yeah, poor R-Truth. If we don't see him for the next few weeks, then that is so sad, man, because that man's just entertainment. But again, continues to get more heat. Yeah, I would say more heat on Bronson, but the fans just keep chanting one more time every time he does it. But him attacking Seth Rollins last week, didn't really get into that much, but him doing that was like the biggest thing of his career. And now the fans, I think, at least me, are invested in him finally, because he was, I keep saying treading water, but there was a lot of people I've been talking about in this episode treading it. And Bronson was kind of just a third wheel in a bunch of feuds. He was a third wheel in the Sammy Gable feud and in the Sheamus feud with, I believe, with Pete Dunne and with Kaiser. So about time he actually gets some spotlight here. His motivations make sense. The fact that he's being disrespected, not getting any matches or pay-per-view matches, he's just going to make a name for himself. It completely makes sense. I feel like we're getting Reed Rollins at some point, considering Seth was the first one to get the hell beaten out of him. I'm probably expecting a lot of this next week. Who's going to be Bronson's victim next time? I don't know, but I'm so happy that they're actually doing something that like makes Bronson look like a killer. And now I'm actually invested in him and excited to see what he does, even though rest in peace, R-Truth, man. He, of all people, man, just not him, man. He's too damn funny. We need him on Raw, but yeah, good for Reed. Good for Reed. Very sad, though. Main event time. Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn. 2 out of 3 falls for the IC title. I am so happy that they gave this match actual time, because their Money in the Bank match and SummerSlam match especially was very short. I mean, the one SummerSlam match we saw live was not even 10 minutes. It was supposed to be 12, I think, and it shortened to 6, which I think was good for Breaker's character. But I'm happy that they're able to do this, because these two do have good chemistry, and when you give them time, they can knock it out of the park. Oh boy, they did. They knocked it out of the park. That one barricade spot where Breaker just ran to it and just hucked Sammy over it, and Sammy like landed back first in the chair. It's like a nasty fall. We have not seen, I don't know when's the last time I've seen a bump like that. That was insane for Sammy to take and to make Braun look like a killer. Sammy does a great job of, he is a great underdog to make Breaker look like a killer, but make his comebacks look badass and resilient. Because Sammy got a pinfall. He got the first pinfall out of nowhere, but then Breaker tied it. And when it was 1-1, some of the near falls, even though we kind of knew there was no way they're going to have Breakker lose, the fans were invested, man. There were moments where they thought Sammy had the title back on his grasp. But at the end, after a bunch of near falls and great counters and spots, Sammy jumped off the top rope and Breakker gave him one of the nastiest spears in midair I've ever seen to win the match. Oh my God. Braun is going to hold this belt till at least WrestleMania. Dude, the future of this belt is so bright. From Gunther being a great champion, reviving and the prestige of the belt. And then Sammy, to me, having a pretty good babyface reign with the belt, to now Braun. I am so freaking excited. The matches that we're going to get, I could definitely see a Braun Dragunov match at Bash at Berlin. But plus other potential matches. I'm so freaking excited to see him as Intercontinental Champion, see the matches he's going to have. And when we get to maybe WrestleMania season, he can have any big match, maybe even bigger matches. Cena, Lesnar. But we'll see. Those are just two of the matches from Braun I want to see. But great main event. Great Raw and SmackDown. So motivating to do this episode when you've got great episodes like that. But let's get into some news here, ring discoveries. And I have to get my phone out for this as usual. We mentioned Bronson Reed killing Seth Rollins. And originally, I think most of us thought that, okay, they're going to just remove Seth from this Drew Punk feud temporarily. And we're just going to maybe have Seth and Bronson Reed feud. Maybe it'll be something cool for Bronson to do. Turns out, at least for now, that's not the case. It turns out the reason why they did that is because Seth Rollins needs time off. I think Adam Pearce shared it, as Seth's going to be out for an unknown amount of time. He's undisclosed amount of time. I'm trying to see here. I think basically, I'm trying to see the news here. It just seems like it's what Pearce said. But I think it's more just his injury that he still has with his back and like torn meniscus, I think, as well. I feel like he didn't come back 100%. A lot of people kind of criticized him in Priest's match. A little unfairly to me, but I know people were critical of him. I feel like the reason they brought Seth back is to insert him into the Punk feud. I think that's why they brought him back a little earlier than maybe they should have or they wanted to, because I think they wanted to get the Seth Punk feud rolling, because I think we might be heading towards a WrestleMania match between them. And I don't think they wanted Seth to feel lost in the shuffle and get people to just forget about the Punk Seth stuff because the Drew feud's so good. I think that's why they brought Seth back in the first place. So it makes sense that they did that, but now he's going to be off for a while. It makes sense why he didn't wrestle at SummerSlam. He was the special guest ref. Yeah, but I feel like it's just nagging injuries, like similar injuries. I don't think he has to get surgery or anything. But I feel like he's probably going to be out for Bash at Berlin. I think Bad Blood, maybe he'll try to come back for that. Maybe, because I definitely see when Rollins comes back, him going after Reed. But if Seth truly has to take an extended period of time off, I think he should just wait till the Royal Rumble to come back. I feel like that would make sense. I could definitely see like a spot where Bronson Reed dominates the Rumble, Seth comes back and eliminates him or something. That could get him like back and healthy again. Because I said it after WrestleMania, the guy who deserves like all the time in the world off is him, because he had 2 fucking matches with all these injuries. And he got even more injured at WrestleMania. So it was crazy when he came back when he did. He gave us good moments, but yeah, I feel like if he's truly taken time off for good for a while, he deserves it. But if he comes back early, they can't complain. Seth Rollins is always a treat to see. We got an update on another injury of Jacob Fatu. Apparently he's coming back pretty soon here. It's a positive update on the injury. Fatu's expected to return to in-ring action by the end of this month, because there was no specifics on the injury and the severity. But I feel like it sounds just like a minor injury. I know he was in a walking boot, but I guess it's not as big of a deal as we thought. I don't know what that means for the tag titles, if they're just going to give it back to Fatu when he comes back. If Tonga's now the champ now and Fatu's just going to be like Soul's muscle. Like I said, him versus Roman. Come on, give it to me, please. But thank God for that. I honestly think this new bloodline needs him to be, as long as The Rock is still gone, they kind of need someone like Fatu to legitimize it, because Roman literally just destroyed 2/3 of it last week. So to protect Fatu, keep him away from Roman and the intrigue of him coming back and everything, I feel like that's good for Fatu, and I'm so happy that he doesn't have a terrible long-term injury, because he's on fire right now, and I want him to remain that way. Moving on to John Cena. He is expected to work about 36 dates for his retirement tour for 2025. I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say. I'm guessing, if I were to guess, I'm guessing the Raw for Netflix, he'll be there. The Rumble, he already says he's going to be there. Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania. I'm assuming SummerSlam. I'm assuming Survivor Series. I'm assuming too a bunch of international pay-per-views, since he seems to love to go to those. So yeah, good for him. And 36, I hope his body can handle that, since it's been years since he's like worked that amount of dates. But I'm excited for John Cena's retirement tour. AEW wrestler coming to WWE very soon, and his name is Ricky Starks. It makes sense. A lot of people know about his close relationship with Cody Rhodes, and he hasn't been in an AEW storyline since I think like March. He hasn't really done a lot this year at all, which is saying something considering he was a tag champion last year and he feuded with freaking Bryan Danielson. But yet it seems like they didn't capitalize on that. Shocker. Sorry, I don't want to shit on AEW too much, but come on, how do you not recognize the potential? But it makes sense. I don't know if Starks is going to be with Cody or if he's maybe going to go to NXT or something. I don't know what he's going to do, but I'm very excited. I feel like it'll be good for Starks too to see his buddy Cody. I remember that NXT segment when Cody was on the show, of Cody and a bunch of former AEW guys, including Ethan Page, and Cody just looking like where we all are now. So we got to add Ricky Starks to that and do another segment with that. That would be very funny, but it makes sense. I think Starks sent a tweet saying a shout out to the fans who send me thoughtful messages. So yeah, I hope the world of Starks. I hope he does what's best for him. But I think, yeah, it seems like it's inevitable that he's coming to WWE. I'll tell you someone who's not going to be at WWE anymore, and his name is Bobby Lashley. I believe his contract expired pretty recently. He also announced too he's going to have a boxing match in Vegas coming up, so that's very interesting to see. But I'm trying to see here. He had an interview and he talked about his relationship with Triple H. And he basically said he had a better connection with Vince than with Triple H, because Vince like understood him, knew he was a star, and how he hasn't had too much of a connection to Triple H. They said they haven't talked enough or really got to know each other, which is a little bit odd. I know a lot of people are probably going to crap on Lashley for praising Vince and talking down to Triple H, but this has nothing to do with any personality traits of Vince and Triple H. I think it makes sense that Lashley's saying this, because when Vince was there, he was WWE champion. When Triple H took over, he was kind of lost in the shuffle. It's nothing personal. I don't think, like, if you were to ask Lashley about the allegations, I don't think Lashley's going to sit here and praise Vince. It's just he's praising him because he booked him well and understood him well. And people that are just crapping him on it, it's like, what's the point? Like, he's just telling the truth. He was booked better. look at WrestleMania this year. Lashley was in a random ass tag match. It was completely forgettable. Like Triple H really didn't book him that much. It's clear they didn't have that much of a relationship, and it makes sense that Lashley's leaving WWE. So yeah, I don't think Lashley hates him, Triple H at all. I just think they didn't see eye to eye. It happens in the wrestling business all the time, and it is what it is. Not a big deal, but very interesting to see that because Lashley really hasn't had an interview in a while. So it's good to hear perspectives like that. Not everything. Yes, WWE is killing it right now, but that doesn't mean every single wrestler in the world is happy with the current situation. So you're always going to get people like that. But last year, I think said it as professional as you can. I think people crapping on him are ridiculous. But that's just me. Here's some videos here I want you guys to check out here. Yes, the SummerSlam vlog video with a whopping, I believe, like 35 views is out right now. Check it out on the link below. And obviously, it's out on my channel too. And then last week, we had a SummerSlam review video with one of my roommates, Brad, and one of my friends, Matthew. Check that out on that link below. I want to apologize for that episode for my sound quality being bad. Brad's constant glitching. Yeah, I just apologize for that. I know I said like I'm never gonna do that again, or I brought a couple months ago being like, I promise I'm gonna try never to sound like that again. There's always weird things with my computer where the sound's just not going to sound the best, but it is what it is. I'm confident I actually sound like a professional podcaster, even if this is nowhere near professional. Hey, but we are on 20 episodes. But yeah, check those two videos out, especially the vlog video. It's 40 minutes, but it's a fun 40 minutes. We had a great experience. But that is going to do it for the 20th rendition of this podcast, one anniversary. I'll be looking forward to 30 coming up in 10 weeks. So yeah, have a good week, guys. Stay safe out there. Enjoy the rest of what's left of the non-school summer,